Hey everyone, so today we are going to learn some flower doodles, and this is going to be super simple even if you are a beginner. You can just grab a piece of paper and a ball pen, that is also fine. I'm using here a sketch sheet and some gel pen with different sizes. I have 005 mm, 01 mm, 05 mm pens with me. But don't worry about these fancy things, just grab a normal ball pen or pencil and start with today's drawing. Now, either you can draw everything with the help of pencil first and then trace everything with the help of pen. But I think I can start with the pen itself because the first one is not very complex and I don't need any guideline or anything like that. So I'm just starting with the pen. So create a tree branch kind of structure. So having one stem, then substems, then divide those stems into multiple stems. So something like tree branches. So I'm doing here 3 to 4 group of flowers, and I have divided into multiple stems, and then you can create some flowers in a leaf kind of shape like this. So this is the pretty simple flower, you can say, and very easy to draw. If you are drawing a landscape or something, you can need something like this. So this is the first one and the easiest one. Now you can also add a bit of leaves as well, so I'm adding these oval kind of shape. You can also do little bit of cross hatching techniques to make some shades around the leaves. Now let's start with the second one. So for the second one, I'm creating two stems. I like to create two lines for the single stem, then create an oval kind of shape like this, and then we are going to add some petals at the tip of this particular base. Create some pattern like this, like a pineapple head, so it has multiple petals in it with different sizes. And create a spikes kind of structure at the base. So I'm creating a sharp V shape, opposite V shape in this particular structure, and filling this area with the same structure. You can repeat the same thing for the second one and also create some spikes at the edges, so we don't need any smooth edges, so create some spikes around it. I also want some cross hatching method here so that I can get some dark shade for the base of the flower. So these things you can do to make more effective drawing, and then you can do little bit of shading in the stems as well. So we are done with the second one, quite simple, right? Now let's start with the third one. This one is very simple. So you can create some petals and then ovary of the flower. So I'm creating 3 petals for one single flower, and then I'm creating 3 sepals at the back of the petals, and one round oval shape for the center of the flower. You can create as many as flower you want, so I'm creating 4 for now, and then create stems. So I usually like to draw two lines for one single stem, so that's why I'm doing it. Now add one line around each petal and then do some cross hatching methods in the sepals so that we can differentiate between the petals and the sepals. Right, so these things you can do, and see this flower is quite simple, but I like this to draw. Do a little bit of shading around the petals as well. If you like to, I'm going around the edges only and doing little bit of shading in the petals. You can also do some leaves at the base of the stems. I'm creating these small leaves like we did for the first one. In the first one we have grouped them together, in this we are creating leaf kind of structure. Now we are moving towards little bit difficult stuff. but not that difficult. So create some structure like this. So we have a longer sepals in this particular flower, and these are the sepals, 4 sepals. You can draw, you can do some hatching process for the sepals to make it little dark. And then we are not going to cover everything, but half of the sepals we are going to fill with the flowers. So this is more like flower is not properly bloomed. And then you can create flower petals like this in a group. So these are multi-layered flower and multiple petals are going around it. And something like this you can do. You can create 2 for one single group. For now I'm creating only 1, and then I'm also creating a line around each petals that we have for this particular flower. For this one also you can create some leaf. So I'm creating little bigger leaf for this particular one, and I'm keeping serrated at one side and smooth at another side. So for now I'm creating 2 leaves for this particular flower. So let's create one more, and then you can do some cross hatching methods to add some shades around the leaves. You can do all these things with the help of fine pen, but you can do with the help of pencil as well. All these contouring and hatching process gives your drawing more depth, so you can do something like this. And then let's move to the 5th one. So for the 5th one we need an oval kind of shape. So we have 2 ovals. Create a structure like this, and this particular, the bigger oval has the area for the petals. So we are going to create 2 flower here. I'm going to show you only one, and then I'm quickly going to do this another one. And then you can add little bigger stem for this particular one. And then we have divided our oval shape into 2 parts. So the bigger parts has round structure in it, and then fill the in between area fully, so that we can get some negative spaces in the round kind of shape. And I'm going to repeat the same thing for the second one as well, doing some stippling method. So I'm adding little dots around the second part of the oval shape. So this structure is quite beautiful. I like these kind of structure, especially for the ovary of the flowers. And then you can create some petals. So first create all the petals at distance, and then do some in between petals, or you can also do some multi-layering of the petals. Something like this you can try. So either you can create these petals at the base only, or you can go the upper section as well. So I'm going to show you one wherein I am going to create petals for the upper section also, and I'm also doing a little bit of multi-layering, adding these behind petals between 2 main petals. I have added 1 line for each petal. And for this one I'm creating few more petals towards this particular area, but it's not important, so I'm not going to do for the second one. Now you can create some lines to add some shades around the petals, but I am not filling the whole petal. I'm just creating few lines in between the petals and around the edges. And that too, I'm not going to do this for all the petals. You can do it for few petals in between. So something like this you can create. It's quite simple flower, but beautiful ovary in it, beautiful flower base we have. Then you can do cross contouring process in the stems as well, and then repeat the same thing for the second flower. So as now you have understand everything, I'm not going to show you the second flower, but you can create as many flower as you want. So let me quickly go through the second flower. I'm repeating the same thing what we did in the first one. Let's rub all the unwanted pencil mark for these two, because we have added some guideline for creating some structure around the flowers. Now this one is the group of flowers, so I'm creating group of flower very close to each other. You can create either one stem or you can create multiple stems, totally up to you. And for the ovary of the flower, I'm creating some small leaf kind of structure around it. So repeat the same thing for all the flowers, and then little dots in the center, and then you can create the petals. So this time I'm creating round kind of petals, having round kind of edges in it, and we can see multiple overlapping of the petals because these are very close to each other. And we are not seeing anything apart from the center part of the flower and the petals for this particular one. Now I'm again adding lines for the petals. These are not a straight line, little curvy lines, that you can get little perspective over the petals as well. You can create one single stems. I think that is a much better idea, but this one I have created multiple stems, which I didn't like later, so then I have added few leaves to hide some of the stems. I would suggest you guys to create one single stems for this group of flowers, and then you can add little zigzag pattern around the ovary so that you can differentiate between the petals and the ovary easily. Now you can do a little bit of cross contouring method around the petals as well, or you can do this cross contouring method for the leaves as well. Because I want to hide these stems, so definitely I'm going to do some shading for the leaves, but I'm not doing shading for all the petals. I did for few. So this shading is quite important, and I'm doing some cross hatching to get some dark shade so that we can hide some of these stems at the behind. And we are done with around 6 flower doodles. All these flowers are quite simple, and let me show you one more. This one is also very simple but very attractive and beautiful, so I think I should add one more at the end. So create a round shape for the center part of the flower, and then create a small flower around the edges. So basically I'm creating the round shape with the flower itself, then do some hatching process for the center part of the circle. And then you can fill the in between area to get some dark shade. So I'm repeating the same thing for both the flowers. So I'm creating 2 flowers, you can just create one to try with. For the petals, I'm not doing anything, I'm just creating these spikes, longer spikes like this. It's these are very sharp V kind of shape but not straight. You can just move your direction into curvy structure. So this perspective is totally different. We are seeing everything for this particular flower, but maybe we can create one more with little different perspective. So I'm going to add all these petals in a curve kind of structure so that we can see the flower is tilted towards any one particular direction. So as you can see now, my petals are tilted towards the upward direction and downward direction, and then while doing all these things you will realize the whole perspective has changed now, and this flower is more tilted towards the left side. So few petals are overlapped with each other because the flowers are close to each other, Now you can create stems. So I'm creating simple stems. Now I am not going to add any leaf for these flowers. I think this much is enough. And we are almost done with today's video. We are done with all 7 beautiful flower doodles. Hope you have liked this video, and do let me know if you have any feedback for me. Thank you so much for all your love and support and watching my videos. See you guys in the next video.